I'm a speech-language pathology assistant. I did go to college too, a long time ago. I graduated in 2008. I've studied abroad in Veracruz, Mexico for a semester. I have 13 years of experience in home health and clinical services, being a speech therapist. And I work with kids age range from 3 to 50, and half of my caseload or more are nonverbal or have AAC devices. And then I've been in the Washington Elementary School District for 10 years, and I've been in special needs preschool, a CCK, which is like kindergarten special ed, and a CCD, which is our most severe and profound students, so medically fragile, non-speaking, mostly non-mobile, very special angel babies, I love them. And I'm starting a new chapter at Corticud in a clinical setting next year. And then I volunteer at my church. I run a special needs ministry at Pure Heart, and that's been 7 years. Also, this is my daughter Lorraine in the background. She's 9. She wants to go to college one day, so I think this is a really good start. And that's my husband.
Hi.
I come with an entourage. Thank you guys so much for letting me present you. I'm really excited. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to talk about. Communication in general, how we teach communication. So you have an IEP. Let's talk about the legality of that. And then I'm going to show you about assistive technology. And I brought some toys, like Ashley said. They're toys that we use in our classroom all the time. And it makes learning a lot more fun. So I'm excited to show you guys that if you can stick around. And then visuals, how important they are, and presuming competence for all of our students. Let me check my notes. Okay. So, I found that when I do this presentation, I use a lot of these terms, and I don't always explain them. So, let me know as you're reading these if there's any further explanation you need. But we have the definition of communication when you exchange information. Functional, designed to be practical and useful rather than attractive. Total, so when we talk about total communication, it's the using any kind, so me going like this, my body language, maybe ASL, maybe a gesture. We're accepting that as total communication. And then aided language is really important. I'm going to reference this a lot throughout the presentation because our kiddos that use assistive technology or AAC, that's called aided language because it's not verbal. Okay. So how do we acquire language? Through imitation. I kept saying modeling. It's like model. And then all I thought of was a model, and I was like, that's not going to stick. So I just wanted to reiterate that as we've all acquired language as learners, we have exposure to it. We practice it. It's repetitious. It's meaningful, and it's motivating. That's a really big one. So this is my scenario. Lorraine goes, so I speak Spanish. I'm not a native Spanish speaker. I learned it in school. And Lorraine is like, Mommy, teach me Spanish. And I'm like, no, that's a really good job. And she's like, no, please teach me Spanish. And I'm like, how do you expect me to do that? She goes, just talk in Spanish all day long, and I'll try to figure out what you're saying. And I was like, isn't that not how we acquire language? Like, if I did that, she would probably catch on to a couple things. So that was a really big aha moment to me that it's really that easy, even if you're 9 years old. And then what does it mean for aided language learners? So if we have an aided language learner, they're using AAC or assistive technology, that means that we need to model that for them. If I'm verbally speaking, they're not going to produce AAC out. When I'm modeling, they're going to be imitating. That was my point. How do we do that? Model, this. You know what stinks about this is I don't know what slide I'm on. Click. Okay. So model without expectation. When you guys are in the classroom, or even if you have been around kids, you know that what you say is received by people around you, and especially the little ones tend to repeat what you say. So it's not like you're expecting them to give it it back to you. So in speech therapy, we're modeling on the devices all the time. We're modeling verbally all the time. We want them to do their final T's, so we're like, act. I don't know, another final T word, goat. But we're not going like all the time. We're not saying, say goat, say goat. We want them to just hear the T, and then all of a sudden do it. We're not putting that expectation on them with our devices or our verbal speech. We're going to look at the modeling versus prompting hierarchy. It's a video and I really like it. And then exposure matters. So we really want to make sure that we are exposing kids to language, taking time with them, and going really slowly. Okay. I really wish I had like a number down here, but I don't. So, what's this? Let me just check. Number 6. I'm doing so good. Okay. Oh, and it's the video, so I needed to get out anyways. So this is the modeling versus prompting hierarchy. Is that too loud?
I want blocks. More blocks. More blocks.
When providing prompting to a student using an AAC device, there are 2 overarching principles to always consider. The first one is to be continually providing aided language stimulation, meaning press the button while you say the word when interacting with a student.
I want blocks.
The second one is to provide sufficient wait time. By waiting expectantly, looking at the student, you're providing the student an opportunity to independently communicate a message.
More blocks.
The next more intrusive prompt you would use is to gesture towards the student's device. You might gesture towards the device or move the device closer to the student. Next up is an indirect verbal prompt. The staff or teacher might tell the student something like, "Tell me what you think," or "What are you thinking?" Tell me. Next, the staff provided a point prompt to the student. This means they pointed to the word that they are targeting. So in the video, the staff pointed to the word more without touching the word.
Nice touching your device. More blocks.
Then, the staff might model the word. So they point to the word and touch it while saying more and handing the student more Legos.
More blocks.
Finally, the student touched the device and the staff attributed meaning by saying more and modeling the word more on the device.
More blocks. Nice touching your device. More blocks.
When prompting a student, feel free to use the same prompt multiple times in a row. For example, you might provide the student a model, then a point prompt, a model, then a point prompt, until the student engages with the materials. A question we get often is, should I be using physical prompts with my student? In general, the answer is no, we should not be using physical prompts with our students. Physical prompts create compliance with a demand versus teaching the student how to communicate independently. In some cases, a tactile prompt may be beneficial for the student, especially if you've tried multiple different less intrusive prompts and the student still isn't interacting with the activity. You could try a light tactile prompt such as touching them behind their elbow to re-engage them with the materials. Again, this is something that should be used sparingly and just if the student is having trouble engaging with the materials.
So, I know that's specifically very communication centered. What I want you guys to take away from me is that one day in your careers you're going to come across someone who has an AAC device. You might be in your classroom, might be a student at your campus, and you're gonna remember that we never use hand over hand on our communicators. We never force them to touch a button, because communication is a choice, right? Just like I have the choice not to talk and say something, they also have the choice to not activate their device and ignore you, or maybe even say go away. If you show them that, they might want to do that if you model it. But that's really important to me. I put it down here and highlighted it. We do not use hand over hand. That little tactile prompt to her elbow is like, that's good enough. I work with the kiddos who are very severe in ProCom. They have limited mobility, like under the hand, like this, but ABA is becoming very popular in our world, which I think is great. But the hand over hand for everything, even to like grab the blocks, and what she was doing is too much when it comes to communication. So just remember that for me. This is our moment. Yes, Jesse. Okay. It's my soapbox, guys. You can't tell. Okay. So those are my slide numbers. I know you're probably saying that you can put slide numbers on there for me in 2 seconds, and that'd be fun. Mr. Tech. Okay. So aided language in equals aided language out. So if I'm using verbal language, I'm saying hola, and I'm modeling hola. I'm going to get hola out of the person. If I'm modeling a core board, or I'm modeling ASL, for them, they're going to learn it and produce it as well. Oh, I have a clicker. Okay, aided language in aided language in equals aided language out. Verbal language in, me talking, does not equal aided language out. Using AAC, Picture Exchange Communication System, American Sign Language, Braille. Look how confused he is. Okay, this is another video. It's an oldie but a goodie, and I've liked it, so I hope you guys will like it too. Different perspective. Lucky, please inside.
I find it really interesting to talk about attributing meaning to random attempts, because often teachers feel like this is crazy. This feels really uncomfortable. But what we need to do is look at what we do with young, typically developing children. We attribute meaning all the time to typically developing children. That child says, da, da, da. And we say, Daddy! He said Daddy! And the kid looks at us like, really? But you know what? It just became much more likely that that child was going to say Daddy. That child so was not saying Daddy. We heard it, we attributed meaning, it became more likely. When a student is using a communication device and says something, I attribute meaning. So if we're reading a book and that student says who, and now I attribute meaning. I assume that they're asking a question about the character in the book. And I say, oh, who? Well, I think that was that dog that's the really bad dog in my book. That's who it was. And by doing that, I'm telling them, what does it mean to say who? Maybe that student didn't know that before, and I can help attribute meaning. By the time we have students scribbling, by the time we get good communication systems in place, they're a lot older, and we feel like everything should be meaningful, and they should just know how to do it. No, they shouldn't, because they never got a chance to scribble with writing. They never got a chance to babble with language. And so we need to give them a chance to explore their communication sets and to explore the alphabet and to scribble. And we need to be really good about attributing meaning so that it becomes very meaningful to them and so that they can grow and learn from their initial attempts that really weren't intentional, possibly, and that possibly weren't meaningful, but we can add intentionality and we can add meaning and we can help them grow and learn.
You guys like that? Mm-hmm. Me too. It's a really good perspective, because all we want is these kiddos to be empowered, and we want to encourage them along the way. Okay, so I love this graphic. This is Lorraine at 18 months. She's super cute. Okay, so read this for me, soak it in, and then if you want to share with me what you think it means, give it a shot. This is a test for me to see if I did a good enough graphic. It's wild. It's almost so wild that even when I look at it, I had such a hard time articulating what this says, articulating the meaning behind this. Okay, so if I am a kid and I go to speech therapy for 1 hour a week, and I have my AAC model to me, okay, I'm gonna be 84 when I get the same amount of verbal language modeled to me when Lorraine was 18 months. So 1 hour every single week on my AAC device, I'd be 84 when I got the same amount that this baby got by the time she was 18 months. Because she gets 8 hours of verbal speech modeled every day. This is just a comparison of, I was like, what was it like back then? It's crazy. So if you come across these kids who have these systems, and I'm not just saying AAC, I'm talking picture symbols, I'm talking visuals, you're referencing your visual schedule on the board. That's what we're including. But like 1 hour of speech therapy with Jesse's not going to change your life, but if you continue to pull out those devices, empower them, and get them to have ownership of their voices, then they can excel just like our typical developing kids do. Okay? Questions? Did it make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's why it's so important. It's the title of my slide. So good at this. Okay. Total communication is encompassing the whole person, accepting, honoring all forms of communication. So a lot of our kids get these total communication goals, and then again, they get speech, they get pulled out, they get this, targeted therapy. They go back to the classroom, but if we're saying, hey, you gotta honor their body language and their verbalizations, and Johnny's having a fit in the corner, he's just PO'd, right? You say he's communicating with you. You have to honor that. He might not have the words to say it, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna encourage him to talk, to use a picture symbol. I'm frustrated, I'm mad, use this device or something like that, but you're not gonna be like, Johnny, tell me you're mad, and force him to say that to you. So if they're using another form of communication, you honor that, because they deserve that, right? We all do. If I did that right now, you guys would be like, oh, Jesse's kind of mad, she's in the corner. Okay.
Hey, wait, Priscilla. Oh, no. Yes? Flash? What? Dude. No. You called. I'm 3 on 2. Pregnant. Okay, great, you got it. Please,
When we were watching this as a family, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to put this in my presentation. That's totally what everyone else feels like. And I am totally the fox. And my kids are the sloth, and I'm just like, write it out. Yeah. And then the staff is like, oh, make him say it, make him do it, pull him by the arm. I'm like, nice. He's gonna say the joke, it's coming. It can be painful, but like, you would want that, right? You want that chance to get out what you're saying. We all have those moments where you just can't process. And 70% of autistic people have an auditory processing disorder. We're gonna have autistic kids in our classroom, for sure. And that means that, like, as I'm talking, I feel bad because I'm talking so fast, but as my words reach your ears, you may have processed it, or maybe you didn't get to, and now I'm on to the next slide, and you're like, wait a minute, Jess, I was somewhere else. So, it's just also respect. It's like when you're walking behind the lady with the walker, and she's going so slowly, and you're like, you can't push her over, because that's disrespectful. You have to wait and listen. It's hard for our culture, but they deserve it. And I always like to say wait at least 10 seconds, especially if they have a communication system, more than that usually. And it gives them autonomy, it gives them independence, and there should only be one communication partner prompting. The other example I have is in Dumb and Dumber, where they're like, Mom, yeah, yeah, and the guy in the middle like wants to explode. Like that's what our kids feel like when there's a parapro and a parapro and a teacher at the front. It's just too much. Okay, so slot video, check. Define it. So this is going to be has an IEP or if they're an adult and they have a disability, they may require assistive technology. It's any piece of equipment or product system, whether acquired commercially, off the shelf, modified, customized, that is used to increase, big deal, maintain, big deal, or improve, we want that, the functional communication capabilities, of a child with a disability. So, basically, we've identified they have a disability and they need help. We want to give them the help that they deserve and make sure that people know that legally they're required to have that. AAC is the AAC device. So I'll show you guys mine. It's not on right now, but the electronic one, I would summarize that to say. And then making sure that all of these systems and these are accessible to the person so that they can actually reach them. We don't want a communication device on a shelf over there. That's not what we want. Okay, here's the continuum. So it goes from light tech, mid tech, high tech, and then the light tech is just going to be paper based, so your picture symbols or signs. Paper based plus batteries is going to be mid tech, and I have some of those over there too. Excuse me, like a Big Mac, a step by step. These systems here. Excuse me, and then dynamic display is going to be like your AAC device. It's your high tech stuff. Okay, so these are some examples of light tech. You might have a book over there, a placemat. I use these in preschool all the time, kindergarten, I still use them. It just helps promote language during your activities. So if you're playing Play-Doh or if you're doing bubbles or if you're eating lunch, that's like right there, and it also helps you to strike up some conversation with them. This is a paper-based communication book, so it's like the high tech but printed. And then this little guy here is using eye gaze, so she can see through it. She can watch his eyes to see what he's looking at so that he can communicate with her. She looks through the little hole in the middle. And then mid-tech. So this is, you're going to record a voice, and then it's going to produce that. I use this also a lot during like circle time or calendar or something. So we have one over there where my kids are nonverbal, so they'll hit the button of a kid, their picture, and they'll say like, "Good morning, Jesse," and then they'll hit the next person, so they're able to have that interaction of their peers if they're not able to speak yet. And then I have another one over there with Valentine's Day with Mouse. It's a step-by-step, so it's a recorded message, so basically they can push the button and read along with you. So say you got a kiddo who's not reading, even if they are, it's still really fun too, I think. You're gonna turn the page, hit the button, and then it's my voice reading Happy Valentine's Day Mouse, and then they turn the page and hit the button, and it's the next page of text and other stuff in there. This one's kind of fun because you put an actual item up here, and you have a picture symbol, so you have like the scaffolding. Okay, so this is the huge umbrella of assistive technology, and when you're looking at an IEP, or even when you're looking at people in the community, you're gonna have these really big ones like math, reading, writing, communication. Like we all know we're gonna be teaching those things, but it's what that umbrella is covering, saying like, what can we do to help you be successful in our academics? Written expression, mobility. So like a wheelchair would be assistive technology. It doesn't have to be specifically related to communication or your academics. And I'm going to show you some in a minute. Okay, so for reading, these are some ideas. Colored overlays are these guys right here. You might have seen, or even used yourself, some highlighting to help you stay along. There's an app called ReadWrite. You guys probably know what it is. You highlight the text and it reads to you. And then there's a reading pen over there. It's really cool. You just scan over the text and it reads out loud. My sister has dyslexia, and my mom bought her one of those so that when she goes to the doctor's office, she can hear what the form says, and then she can write down her answer because she can't read it very well, and it's a little above her reading level. And these again are tools that are are going to make someone with a disability successful. It's not cheating, I promise. Okay, writing. Adapted pencils. This keyboard here, it's bigger. It's got contrast. If you're, hey, as a teacher, if you get something from a kid that they just scribble on it and you don't understand it, but he can sit at a computer and type it out and you can grade his work, he needs assistive technology for writing because he just proved to you that he can do it and you can grade it. He's got it. But if he's struggling and you just can't read it, it's not, oh, you're lazy, oh, you didn't try hard enough, this is garbage. But then he sits and he can type on his computer or he can voice text and he can dictate what his thoughts are and you can grade that. Bam, that's what we want. And if you see these things happening in your classroom, say they're on an IEP, say they're not, but you start bringing it up to the teachers and to the other, like, providers, and maybe he needs an IEP, maybe he does need these accommodations so that he can be successful. Start identifying them, paying attention, like, man, he really likes this pencil grip, it motivates him, he's writing more legibly. That's assistive technology. If he has a disability, it should be in his IEP. And then you should read his IEP and make sure that you know what it says so that you do this, because that's a legal obligation. Okay, math. I'm really terrible at math. I wish adapted paper would help me, but it doesn't. Number lines. So you might find also that someone's using a number line and being more successful in your class, and then you're using a number line with everybody, and they're being more successful in the class. It's not cheating. We want to help them. It's visual. It's tactile. There's things called coinulators and online math manipulative websites. I use Alexa, so it's working for me so far, but that would be assistive technology kind of disability. Okay, play. This is my favorite. So we want the kids to have access to toys. So I brought some toys too, and I have this new hobby where a toy that you would like typically like push and make go like with a button, I bypass it and I put my own wires in and a jack and a switch, and then all of a sudden my kids who can't do this hit a button, and that Boppy Llama, she twerks, and boy do they like it. I got a bubble machine so they can push and hold the bubbles. We're promoting language, and then this is a power link, and I throw this in here because we all have family in our life that maybe declining or needs help with their physical abilities. So my private client, his grandma has a nebulizer, so she takes these breathing treatments and she can't turn that little switch on, right? So I plug in the nebulizer to the power link and I plug in a switch, and all of a sudden she's able to push the button and it turns on. She's not bending over, she's not fighting with it, she's not calling for help, she's independent. So there's not a lot of information on power links, but this is my favorite tool. So I adapted, or I plugged in the fan over there to a switch, so you'll be able to run the fan, and it's either like continuous, where you turn it on and it runs. There's a timer, you can have it on for 30 minutes, or you can push and hold, which at Christmas time, I plug in the Christmas tree, and the kids get to turn on the Christmas tree lights, and then have like a dance party. So it's not just for kids with disabilities. Lorraine can vouch, we have a lot of fun with our toys, right? Jason too. Okay, communication, what's AACs? It's short for augmentative and alternative communication. It's a tool that replaces or supports natural speech. These tools support a person who has difficulties communicating using speech. These are our high-tech examples. That's an AAC device. I have mine on the table over there. There's a bunch of different apps. That's Touch Chat, that's Prologo to Go, that's Go Talk Now, there's Talkie Snap, there's everything. This guy's using eye gaze, so you might have a kiddo in your class with CP, and he's cognitively on point, but he's using an AAC device. This is another eye gaze, it's an accent. And this is my jam. I'd say that I'm trilingual because I also speak AAC. This is going to be about how important visuals are, and you guys think that this movie is funny, right? It's not. I'm not that old. Nobody said yes? Yes. Okay, thanks. I got the giggle. My husband's like, maybe. So, I don't know how to TikTok, but I do love Step Brothers. This is a great example. Let me help you out with that. Okay. This, you guys will need to maybe write on the back of your paper, link somewhere. This is an exercise. I didn't prepare you for this. You could use your phone. You could do whatever you want. You can think of it in your head. But we're going to experience how important visuals are. So I'm going to have you listen to something, okay? And you have to tell me 5 things that you understand based on this. Yeah.
هذه الصورة تتكلم عن جمال مدينة البصرة ليلاً. شط العرب هذا هو شط العرب ونرى هذه الأضواء الجميلة العاكسة في شط العرب. وهذه البناية الكبيرة التي فيها أعمال للنساء والرجال. وهنا الناس ينتظرون في هذا المطعم للعبور بهذا اليخت الصغير الذي يقلهم إلى غير مدينة. وهذا الدولاب الجميل الذي يقع في مدينة ألعاب شط العرب البصرة الذي هو لديه فيه أضواء جميلة عاكسة للماء. وهذه مدينة عبارة عن أشجار وأضوية جميلة جدا تسحر الناظرين ليلا.
Okay. Who got that? Anybody speak that language? Nope.
I could see a few really focused.
I understood the word right.
Okay.
Did it say right in there?
I don't know. I don't know. Usually I have whoever does the recording in the room with me. She wrote out a whole text, but no. Okay. This is going to show you guys how important it is to use visuals. Okay? Yeah.
هذه الصورة تتكلم عن جمال مدينة البصرة ليلاً.
Write it down if you know what it does.
هذا هو شط العرب.
Or remember it.
ونرى هذه الأضواء
I'll keep the picture up for you, don't
العاكسة
worry.
في شط العرب. وهذه البناية الكبيرة التي فيها أعمال للنساء والرجال. وهنا الناس ينتظرون في هذا المطعم للعبور بهذا اليخت الصغير الذي يقلهم إلى غير مدينة. وهذا الدولاب الجميل الذي يقع في مدينة ألعاب شط العرب البصرة الذي هو لديه فيه أضواء جميلة عاكسة للماء. وهذه مدينة عبارة عن أشجار وأضوية جميلة جدا تسحر الناظرين ليلا.
That's Huda, my girl. Okay, so I made myself a YouTube channel because there's so much fun with technology now that I'm in my 40s. Okay, I did close it. Well, so there's that. I want to prove my own point. Anybody want to tell me one thing that Huda said?
Water.
Yes. Ferris wheel, yes.
Lights.
Skylights, yes.
Buildings?
Yes.
Reflection.
Yes, she did.
That's 4, right?
That was more than
I
two.
think sky, water, fishing,
The boat, yes. That was in like the middle over here, right?
Yeah.
Give me gesturing to where it was because I had the visual. Okay, so I love that exercise. I do it every year with someone who speaks a different language. I try not to do Spanish because a lot of us understand Spanish. It's kind of cheating when you're in languages. But I do that with everyone every year, and they all get excited. They're like, "I'm gonna write it down." And they're like, "What is that?" And then they get so excited that they think that they can understand another language because you can if I show you a visual. Okay. I don't know because I want to say something really important. Okay. I don't know if it's here. Pan, check. Okay. Let's talk about the function of visuals. So they answer questions that we all have, such as the first ed board. What's coming next? Token reinforcement. What am I doing this for? Visual schedule. When is recess and when can I go home? Picture symbols. Stop. Go. Bathroom. Choices. Can can I do something I wanna do? I'm gonna let you swing or choose bubbles, like you get to pick what you're gonna do. If I can't tell you, then I can at least show you. The placemat, the activity placemat I told you about, what words can I use in order to get what I want during this activity, and a timer. How long do I have to do this for? Like, we use these, right? We all use these. And this is an example of how we use them as adults. We use icons. We know that that's Google, Netflix messages. Token reinforcement, that's our paycheck. What do I get doing this? I get money. Visual schedule, if I'm gonna have a therapy session, if I have a meeting, if I have an IEP meeting. Also, when is recess and when can I go home? And do I take my pills AM or PM? If you drop that pill box and you don't know which one you took and it's different, then you can see, oh, I know which one to take. When the lanes are changing on the street, we all use these. How much pain are you in? We use this at the hospital. And then timer. Again, how many people have looked at their clock and they're like, okay, Jen's working up. Here we go. We're all using them all the time. But I'm gonna go back because I think that this is where I wanted to talk to you about visuals and how important they are. It's what demands are we making? Okay, you want me to do X, Y, Z, but then what? I'm your slave for the rest of the day? No, we get to go to recess. It's gonna be fine. What do I get out of it? And these stick. You remember the picture that Huda was describing. You remember there was a Ferris wheel in it. Nobody knows what the word Ferris wheel is in Arabic or in this room. But that's because my words are invisible. They just disappear. Her words disappeared in Arabic too. But you saw that Ferris wheel, you're gonna hang on to that. They're tangible. These picture symbols are tangible. So you're gonna be able to reference them over and over again. And these kids with auditory processing disorders, or even if they're like EL learners, and they might not cut what you said in English, but you give them a picture symbol, they're gonna hang on to it. So that's my other soapbox. Use visuals. You'll use your visual schedule, I'm sure. It's really important. And then I write myself a note. What did I just say? Do you guys remember what I just said? Mostly, right? Could remember a little more if you saw my words. Okay. AAC goes with me. So I made this campaign at my school, and I showed everyone that a person's AAC needs to be with them at all times. You can't remove it. It's a part of them as much as any other body part. I had a guy say, hey, but he hits me with it, and I said, he can do that with his hand. Back away, right? If you don't want to get hit by the AAC device, then try to avoid it. Just like if they were to kick you. You know, you can't take their leg off and be like, you can't use this because you're hitting me with it. It doesn't belong in a backpack, a purse, a shelf, a charger. I like to equate it to when we leave our houses, we have our keys, our wallet, our phone. Same thing for our voice. We bring it with us everywhere. And then this is tape base. So you guys have some tape. I was gonna put a picture of Lorraine with tape on her face, and my coworkers were like, I don't think you should do that. And I was like, it's my kid. And they're like, please don't. And I was like, well, I know this guy put tape on his face. We don't want to be like him. It would have led me though, right? With the right motivator, she would have, you guys. A chocolate bar? You got it. Token reinforcement. Okay, so this is the Communication Bill of Rights, and it's real. It may have picture symbols on it and look like it's for kids, but it's for everybody. And you can get a copy of it on the internet, or I can send it to Ashley. But I also joke with these handcuffs that one day I'm going to walk around school with a badge and a mustache, and I'm going to hand out tickets for people that are supporting their kids with AAC devices. And they think it's funny. I might do it before I leave. End my career on a high. 40. Okay, so IEP stuff. This is the legality of it. So you're reading your IEPs and making sure you know what's in there so that you're giving the kids access to what they deserve. Or an IEP or a 504, it has to have AT considered for part where everyone on the team includes mom and dad, very important, make sure they know it, make sure they feel it, because we don't always do that the best. But like, what are they using that we may consider assistive technology that needs to be in their IEP? So if they go to another school tomorrow, that teacher goes, oh man, Johnny really needs a visual schedule. If he doesn't know what's coming next, he's gonna lose it. But it has to be in the IEP so that they know. Legally, if the team says a student benefits from it, they have to have access to it. Alternative seating, a wiggly chair or bouncy chair, like it might be distracting to everybody else, but oh my gosh, Jesse's finally learning and paying attention, because that's what Jesse needs. Remember, our goal is to support the student to be successful. We want them to learn, to grow, encourage them, and then for them to fly. You done with IEP? Yeah. Okay, so you guys can read this, but I highlighted in brown how it's really important that we make sure that if they have assistive technology by law, to increase, maintain, improve the functional capabilities of a child with a disability, that they are obligated, that's the legal word, right? Obligated to consider the assistive technology in AAC. Your kids, you got a first grader who's not talking in your class, and your speech didn't identify it. Not all of us are. You can say, hey, I learned this thing about AAC devices in college, and they'll be like, what is that? I'm so smart, listen to this. We can help them talk, because there's stuff out there to help kids with disabilities so that they can be successful. And it's so, you'll see, it's so helpful.